All right, fellas, let's go ahead and summon for the Gammas. Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. Very, very, very exciting. You can hear my full YouTube acting voice in full swing right now. For real, I am very excited. This is post-commentary on these summons. You could see there I picked up all of Pilaf's Trove. So Pilaf's Trove, I'm going to just forever call it Pilaf's Trove because I think it's, you know, a funny meme. But Pilaf's Trove, the question always comes up, are they worth it? And in my opinion, they always are. You know, you can say what you want about the cost. Sometimes they can get a little pricey and that kind of thing. But the one thing that you're guaranteed to get is like other stuff. So there is a copy of Android 17 and 18. Still needed dupes in them, right? So I am not mad about that pull at all. A very, very nice way to set the tone of this video. You guys are gonna see, man. These are maybe some of the best summons I've ever had. You know, spoilers ahead, but probably some of the best summons I've ever had. This is a guaranteed fusion, right? Because of the appearance of Boo and Vegeta. Learned that one from old Havahai. But anyway, man, I'll always pick up Pilaf's Trove. At the very least, is the thing I'll always pick up. Pilaf's Trove, right? So there he is. Gamma 2. Again, a very, very good way to kind of start out the video. And another copy of the androids. So this is a ridiculous multi. So the tech androids are a unit I think are really going to benefit from this leader skill. I think they're going to kind of nestle in nicely on Gamma 2's movie heroes and androids leader skill. I really, really do. I suppose I'm more or less putting my money where my mouth is here. I told people to summon away. Summon until you're at least getting one copy of these characters. I am telling you guys are going to not only have a lot of fun with these characters, but you are going to be able to just, not one-shot, but you're basically going to be able to one-shot every single thing in the game. So if you can pull either Gamma 1 or Gamma 2, and you can just use the friend leader as your link battery for the other one, then you're good to go, right? So nothing going on these last couple of multis, right? So obviously these first... Again, the tickets. I was talking a little bit about the tickets earlier. Tickets are worth because you're always guaranteed to get the extra stuff. So for instance, right? So you're getting a lot usually of aged meat. Aged meat is a pretty much direct, in a way, like if you play the game a lot, it's pretty much a direct replacement for Dragon Stones, right? It's replacing the cost of stamina, right? It's replacing the Dragon Stone in terms of the stamina, right? So again, it's kind of like it's a Dragon Stone, but it's not, right? Because obviously you can't summon with the aged meat. But again, if you play the game a lot, I feel like these packs are definitely worth it. So I believe we're on multi. You get 45 tickets. They're 5-unit multis. This is similar to this is what they did with the tech androids, as I recall, right? Those might have been 7-unit multis, but, you know, 6 in one, half dozen in the other, really. So here's a Krillin alone. I frequently have good luck with Krillin alone. So let's go ahead and see what we get here. There is the Vegito fusion, right? So you're going to be, you know, no Vegito blue on this banner. You're going to be seeing mostly just the basic animations, right? Android 13, I would say he's probably the biggest turd of the banner. And the reason I say that, I think you could probably make the argument that he's a bit better than Fizz Broly. But Fizz Broly is, I think, a little bit closer to his EZA than Android 13. I think Android 13, I don't think we're really there yet, right, with Android 13. He's in this kind of no man's land. So he did come out. He was in 19. I actually take that back because Cooler already has his EZA, right? So Cooler came out before Android 13. So I guess if there's a heavy Android-centric celebration, Android-centric movie heroes, which I know is this one, but if there's another one in the near future, I would definitely say it's possible he gets his EZA. I don't see any way in which they're going to back down from this movie hero stuff, dude. I just think there's going to be buff after buff after buff. There might even be buffs leading to the anniversary And then the anniversary will be movie heroes, right? I think that there's really no question about it. I know the deal with the 8th anniversary is they're supposed to be characters that have never been anniversary featured characters before, right? So people keep saying Gohan, and then people also forget that Gohan actually he wasn't technically featured, but he was a part of the 2nd year anniversary, right? Int Gohan, that was his introduction on that double rates waifu, or no, was it a double rates? I don't remember. But it was a waifu banner. So you summoned the Super Saiyan 4s, the original Super Saiyan 4s, right? Moving over to Dragon Stones, by the way. So you would summon with Dragon Stones. They'd give you a random number of tickets. Ordinarily, it was like 1 or 2, but I think you could get up to 7. And then you would do summons with these summon tickets that you got per multi-summon. So, and Gohan was featured on that banner. Really, really weird stuff Dokkan used to do. That was really when they were finding themselves. I really still feel that way. Dokkan really didn't hit its stride until recently. I mean, once they really figured out the animation piece of things, I feel like things really started to ramp up, you know what I mean? So, I guess you could say AGL Metal Cooler, but then beyond that, right, like, really it was like anything beyond, well, pretty much like the LR Super Saiyan 4s, the animations were just really, really good, and that was where they really found the niche, right? Like, they found what they were looking for, like, what was missing from this game. You had lots of cool characters, you had lots of, powerful characters, but most of them were just all ripping off, Kamehamehas and Masenkos and, like, things that were uninteresting, right? And then all of a sudden they started, doing these really, really good animations, clearly taking a lot of care in these units, right? Which kind of brings me to another point. So, looking at the care of these units, I'm going to be steadfast in my defense of summoning for the Gammas and not saving for Dragon Ball Heroes. I know that, like, some people are, and I respect anyone and what they want to do with their stones, 100%. Oh, and there's Beerus, by the way. Beerus alone, of course, indicates a WHIS animation incoming. Very, very, very exciting. Now, obviously, I'm really hoping this is Gamma 1. That is the hope here. Certainly pulling dupes in Gamma 2 is going to be very useful. I think, actually, Gamma 2 needs the dupes more than Gamma 1 does. Gamma 1 is just he's a shit brick house, dude, even at 55%. He can tank some of the toughest bosses in the game. By some of the toughest, I mean literally Cell Max. I mean, could he tank an Omega Shenron Super? I don't know. Probably he could. 50% damage reduction, and he's got a zillion defense. Probably he could. I'll have to test that out. That might be one of the first runs I do, the Gammas versus Omega. There's another turd of an Android 13, right? Don't care about him too much. But we already know who is in this multi, right? Or do we? There's one of two options, of course. That is a really nice thing about this banner. Another Gamma 2, by the way. But that is one of the nice things about this banner is I feel like you've got it's nice needing 2 of the 7 units, right? So 2 new units of the 7, bam, back to back, dude. Can you buy that? It's again, having 2 new Dokkan Fest units, this is what happens. This is like summoning for a top legendary summon, except on kind of a smaller scale, right? With the decreased number of featured units. And it's another Gamma 2! So, at this point, I'm kind of, I don't want to say I'm getting scared, but like, and I'm not complaining. Listen, I am not complaining about 3 copies of Gamma 2. That is really, really exciting. But we all know, Gamma 2 is incredible. But he's not Gamma 1. Gamma 1 can sit there in slot 1 and just tank everything. And Gamma 2, I would definitely say needs Gamma 1 more than Gamma 1 needs Gamma 2 would be kind of my opinion of that. So back-to-back Gamma 2s lead us to this next summon, and I'm feeling pretty good right now at the time, right? So a Trunks and a Goten fly in. This is usually indicative of a featured unit, and considering we didn't get SSG, I'm thinking it's a featured unit, and it's not simply just 3 or more, unfeatured shitty SSRs. So we're getting further and further into the multi, and I'm becoming more convinced of this, right? So Another, another Gamma 2. That's back to back to back Gamma 2s, man. Like, so when I say that, like, this is the best luck I've probably ever had, and this is probably the best luck I've ever had on a banner. So remember we did all of Pilaf's Trove, and I'm like 300 stones in, and I've pulled 4 Gamma 2s. I've pulled 4 Gamma 2s. Now, yeah, one of them was from tickets, but still, dude, still 3 back-to-back is pretty darn crazy, man. And then here's a Vegito Fusion. Sometimes you gotta just ride the wave, right? If you're getting really good luck with the featured units, you kind of just have to keep going at some points. Like, even if you want to save, I feel like it behooves you. I really do. I feel like it behooves you to just keep going. I mean, this is the kind of shit that can happen. Like, if you just... There's that go on. But if you kind of just keep going, or you kind of just, like, do one more, that kind of thing. Now, yeah, sometimes it can bite you in the ass, but I found much more often than not that these featured units, they come in droves, right? Like, it's so seldom. Yeah, every so often you can YOLO the main featured. Every so often, right? But when you're getting a lot of featured units like this, you want to just keep going. That's my opinion of that. So, Chaozu flying in. It seems like the cooldown is finally setting in here. So, in this video, I haven't really talked about how good... I've talked about how good the Gammas are, but in terms of what they do, probably most are familiar at this point of what they're doing. So, Gamma 1, as I mentioned, he kind of just sits there in slot 1, and he builds up damage reduction and attack and defense just by taking hits. So he's going to get up to 50% damage reduction with each hit received. And then he's getting an additional attack and defense 20% per hit received. So up to 100%. So you stack that on top of... They're literally multiplicative buffs, right? All of these separate buffs. So you start multiplying, or, you know, whatever you're doing, multiplying, adding all of these buffs together on top of his start of turn buff, on top of other buffs he's receiving. And, oh, by the way, he's a support unit, right? He's giving 30% defense to the rotation. And then 1 key or 2 key? 1 key, I believe. So this is a 17, 18, and Beerus. I was thinking this was another WHIS animation, but here we go. We get a double screen crack instead. The panties off a hot babe. So again, the featured unit streak just continuing. Somehow my first Broly I've pulled, right? Again, ordinarily, for me anyway, the unit I keep pulling over and over again is like the 5th or the 6th or the 7th unit on the banner, not usually the first or the second one. Now, this was not the case for the Pan banner. I literally kept trying to... There's another Gamma 2, by the way. So Gamma 2 is rainbowed. That is a rainbow star on Gamma 2. I've never rainbowed a unit on their original banner. I've never rainbowed the main Dokkan Fest unit. I had, like, so for instance, I rainbowed Texan Shenron, because I got so badly shafted on LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta's banner. So this is definitely a first for me. So, you know, I guess props to me for... I rainbowed him in, like, not even 500 stone. I mean, it's crazy. Like, you don't really get this kind of luck ever. I mean, it's not a thing that happens usually. So if you, again, you kind of got to ride these waves of luck. And sometimes it can really, really pay off. So, but yeah, ordinarily I'm pulling the 5th, 6th, 7th featured unit on the banner, and I will have pulled 5 or 6 Brolys, and then a ZENO. You know, it's just like, wow, man. Like, you just have to keep going. You just keep going and keep going. Now, in my head, I'm scared now, because now I'm in the danger zone. Now I officially, I think, only need 1 unit on the banner, and it's Gamma 1, right? So I'm thinking in my head, this has to be Gamma 1, right? It has to be. There's no way it's Gamma 2. So I think in this particular case, it was indeed Gamma 1. There he is. Finally, dude. Finally pulled Gamma 1. I am not complaining. I'm not complaining. But I would have preferred, if I had a choice in the matter, I would have preferred to kind of split up those dupes a little bit. Like, yeah, a Rainbow Star's nice. You know, it's a nice little PNG to have on top of your character. The Rainbow Star is certainly, you know, visually satisfying. The character is a bit more powerful. But really, once you get past 2 dupes, it's kind of just a little bit of gravy. It's just like a little bit of extra defense, just a little bit of extra stats. we've already pulled that guy, by the way. So I've pulled that guy more than I've pulled Gamma 1, by the way. So just kind of one of those things. Kind of one of those just weird, wacky things that can happen. So again, now I'm feeling the cooldown set in. And as my stones are dwindling, I'm really, really hoping we can pull one more copy. Just one more. I know it's greedy. Very, very greedy. I guess I'm a greedy Dokkan player. I was really wanting one more copy of Gamma 1 just to balance things out a little bit, man. A 55% Gamma 1 and a Rainbow Star Gamma 2. I don't know why that just seems so unsatisfying. And I know that just seems so greedy. You can dislike it if you want. I wouldn't blame you if you dislike this video, to be honest with you. The luck was just flowing and flowing and flowing. It was overflowing. The luck was overflowing. And you'll see later what I mean by that. So let me know in the comments below, obviously, how your summons have gone. Hopefully you stopped after you pulled one of each. However, when I pulled one of each, I'd already pulled 5 Gamma 2s. You know what I'm saying? So I may have stopped earlier. But I just kept pulling Gamma 2. Gamma 2, Gamma 2, Gamma 2, Gamma 2, Gamma 2. I guess that's a fair segue. I didn't really talk about Gamma 2 at all. So Gamma 2 is much more of an offensive type of unit. So he's building up attack and defense in a similar way that STR Cooler is, except he's not stacking attack and he doesn't have an 18-key super, right? So he is, to me, he is a mini LR STR Cooler, right? Which makes him very, very strong. You're going to see, I'm going to do a level 10 links, because I've never really rainbowed the main Dokkan Fest unit. I'm definitely going to be doing a rainbow level 10 link showcase on Gamma 2. And it'll probably just include Gamma 1 as well. So you're going to see, like, he's capable of outputting, you know, he can do like 5-10 million attack stats and shit like that. Like, he can do some crazy, crazy stuff. So offensively, man, there are not many who can do it like Gamma 2. I would wager the APT boys are absolutely just fawning over Gamma 2. So this is the kind of where the original recording ends. So I kind of just wanted to show the haul here. So yeah, there is indeed the 5 Gamma 2s, the Rainbow Star on Gamma 2. And then there's the one lone copy of Gamma 1, right? So at least your boy pulled both. Pulled a couple of copies of the androids as well. So I guess we're going to shift over into this next portion of the video where I'm kind of just doing extra summons, right? So here we go. So hopping in on the banner yet again. I believe I do an additional 400 Dragon Stones in this portion of the video. There is a 17 and 18. So obviously we know this is either 3 SSRs or a featured SSR, right? So considering it did not go Super Saiyan God, I'm leaning towards it's going to be a featured unit, right? Which is a very, very good sign. At this point, I think actually I can still use one copy of the androids. I believe they are 90%. I just need Gamma 1. He's really the guy I need. So any Gamma 1s like this one here, very, very good. Again, you can't make this shit up, dude. I mean, here it is. You know, the proof is in the pudding, right? I recorded all this footage. You can't make this up, man. You know, the luck. And I'm not trying to boast about the luck. You guys best believe I have been on both sides of the luck. I've been on both sides, and all things balance out. All things will eventually balance out. Trust. You know, there's the next Dokkan Fest banner, whoever comes out next, or whatever LR banner. I'm gonna have to go like 1,000. There's another Gamma 2, by the way. So the luck is overflowing, right? So, but the next Dokkan Fest or LR banner, I'm probably gonna get thrashed on. Last year, dude, I got thrashed on Heroes, and the year before, I got thrashed on Heroes. I kept pulling all of the secondary shitty fusion units that no one wanted. I kept pulling those 2 years in a row. I pulled those guys. So it was not fun. Some other epic shafts I've had. STR Gogeta, the LR STR Gogeta. I went 2,500 before I pulled my first STR Gogeta. That was a kind of a rough one for sure. Tech Gohan, I went over 1,000 on his opening banner, and I did not pull him. If you guys will recall Fizz Golden Frieza when he came out, this was right after right after that step-up nonsense on Global, where UI Goku wasn't in the he wasn't in the banner, or he wasn't in the pool of units, right? For he was only in the pool of units in the last multi in the last slot. That was the only way you could get UI Goku. So what ended up happening was we ended up getting our stones refunded because it was an error. It was a mistake on their part. So they didn't test the banner or whatever, or they didn't look at the banner, they didn't comb through the data well enough, or whatever, but we ended up getting all of our stones refunded, right? They immediately took the banner down. They actually put it back up, I believe, and they fixed it. Oh, another 13, who cares? So, but anyway, we ended up getting all of our stones refunded. I actually purposefully, because I knew they were going to refund the stones, or I had a very strong inclination they were going to refund the stones. So I ended up getting refunded, you know, my over 600 dragon stones, basically. It was exactly 600 dragon stones. Anyway, I did all 600 plus a little bit more on Frieza's banner, and I did not pull him, right? So that was kind of a rough one, right? What else? I've had some really bad shafts in the past, dude. Those were the ones that came to mind. The Gohan going over. Oh, SS4 Gogeta, Int SS4 Gogeta. I could not pull him to save my life. I had gone 1,500 stones, and then I just did this random YOLO single, and I pulled him somehow. I mean, it's one of the only instances I've pulled the main featured on a single, right? I mean, you really shouldn't do singles. Some people do have crazy singles luck. If you got that crazy singles luck, or every so often, I might maybe rip one single just to kind of see. But I'm not one of these guys who gets 5 stones and then does a single, right? I don't do that, but maybe if I get 50, though, I'll rip a multi, right? But multis are just so much more worth it. You're guaranteed an SSR. And I know in a lot of cases the SSR are just as useful as SR, so I actually do kind of understand the justification of doing singles. I'm not really hating on people for doing singles, just to me they're not really. It's just like it's kind of like a fool's notion that they're, you know, any more worth than a multi. They're just not, right? They're really not. They're really not worth it. But if you have good singles luck or whatever, that's fine with me. So we are reaching the end of this video. There is a Vegeta flying in. Vegeta can mean a fusion, and we do indeed get the fusion here. It doesn't always mean the fusion, right? So we know Vegeta can be one of the most epic, you know, cock teases there is, right? Same thing as WHIS or Beerus flying in when they're not together, right? They're just epic cock teases for sure. So there is an SR Jocko in my 7th Gamma 2. So this is why you don't go chasing dupes, ladies and gentlemen, because this can happen. I may end up grinding the links of the SSR of Gamma 2, but we shall see. But I'm going to wrap up this 24-minute video here. Slap a like on it if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new, and I will catch all of you in the next one. Later.